you made a statement that's very important. You said it felt like it's the end of the world, and that's because it is. And the reason I'm saying that is because people need to understand language. Language is very important. Language changes according to the agenda of these people. And so the word world used to be age. It was replaced, the word age was replaced with the word world. So if you read any religious book, or if you read any updated piece of literature, it now says world. But if you look at the same piece of literature, whether it be a religious book, a history book, or whatever, before they changed it, it said age. And that is very important, because ages are stages that we exist in underneath a certain light frequency. So for example, right, everything you learned in school was a lie. In order for me to tell you this, you have to accept that. Now, one of the greatest lies that we've been told is the format of our solar system. It is not heliocentric. We are not, in the solar system where the sun is here and we're revolving around. That's a horrible lie. The truth is the sun is traveling around the galaxy at about 70,000 kilometers per hour, and it's pulling the planets behind it. So we're vortexing behind the sun. So the best analogy I can give you is like when somebody gets married and they have the cans on the back of the car and the car is pulling the can. The sun is pulling the planets. Now it takes us approximately $25,000 to travel around our galaxy. And so as we travel around our galaxy, we come into different zodiacs. So for those of you who don't know, the only difference between a zodiac and a constellation is a constellation is a group of stars that form a particular pattern. A zodiac is a group of stars that form a particular pattern that affect you. And so if we were actually closer to certain stars, they would affect us. So the 12 main star patterns that affect us are what the ancients blueprinted out as the zodiac. Now that you're with me on this, we've been traveling for about 2,160 years through Pisces. We're at the end of Pisces and we're coming into Aquarius. Now, Aquarius not only is called the age of enlightenment, aka the new age, we're ending the age of Pisces. So now what's happening is, as we're coming into Aquarius, the patterns of the stars are different, which means light is going to be different. Physical reality is subjected to sunlight. So we're coming into a different reality. People are becoming lighter. We're becoming less dense. The molecules that make up our bodies are reconfiguring themselves so we can be more spiritual. Now, why is this important? The government is trying to hijack that. And they're trying to hijack spirituality with artificial intelligence and technology. So they're making you lazy. They're making you dependent on technology so that you don't use your mind, because your mind is more available to you now for the next 2,000 years than it has been for the previous 2,000 years. So when people say it feels like the end of the world, it is. It's the end of an age. And the way that we track that is we track what has happened on this planet for the last 6,000 years. 6,000 is important because we've been through 2,000 years in 3 different sessions. So we had the agricultural age, and then that ended. And then, we had the Stone Age. That ended. Then we had the agricultural age. That ended. Then we had the industrial age. That ended. Now we're coming into what they call the technological zenith age. And I'm warning you now, you don't want that. The all-seeing eye is AI. The only thing that can watch everybody on planet Earth at one time is a robot. So this is what facial recognition and all of that is, and Bill Gates want to give people certified chip because they are trying to digitize slavery. So I just wanted to warn y'all on that. All of that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, you don't want none of that. Smart house, smartphone, smart city, you don't want none of that. Because what happens when they tell your house not to let you out? What happens when they tell your car not to let you drive? What happens when you want to make a purchase and they tell your bank account to shut off after 6 o'clock? So we think that we're advancing as a society, and really, we are fit to enslave ourselves cybernetically. So I just wanted to throw that in there, and we coming in hot already.
So I want to go ahead and just give us a brief, if you had to summarize everything you had in that YouTube video. I'm talking about, first and foremost, the Democratic Party, That's a huge thing. Everyone's a Democrat. Everyone's like Democrats, and they don't even know the whole background to that. And, you know, the Republican Party and who started it. Give us a gist of the background of the government real quick so that people know what we're dealing with. And then we'll jump into the media and other stuff.
Well, you have to realize that this government is not new. This government has been here for 2,000 years. We are underneath the Roman Catholic rule. We were underneath Roman Catholic rulership. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people are going to say, well, why do what does Romans have to do with the United States of America? Everything. Now, democracy comes from ancient Greece and ancient Rome. For those of you who know anything about ancient Greece and ancient Rome, you know that they share cultures. Now, democracy comes from the word demon and rulership. Demo, and this is not up for debate. Go get a dictionary. Go get an etymological book. I'm not speaking out of fantasy land here. Demo means demon. Krisi comes from the word kratos, which means rulership. Democracy literally means demonic rulership. Now, the reason that this is important is because Homer in ancient Greece used to sacrifice children and rape children and sacrifice them to the weird, sick gods of that time. And this is where Freemasons get their rituals from. Hence the Democratic Freemasons. You can ask any Freemason who's going to be honest with you. He will tell you that they get their rituals from Aleister Crowley and Homer. And so Homer was a Democrat in ancient Greece, and who clicked up with ancient Romans and became the Greco-Romans. Now, the Catholic Church created religion. I don't know if you guys are religion, but I'm here to tell you that's a lie too. But teach his own. The Catholic Church created religion, and they went about conquering the world, enforcing democracy everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They came over here to America, where black people such as myself was minding our business, and they conquered my ancestors and forced democracy and religion. Now, let's come to today's Democratic Party. Black people fought themselves out of slavery. We fought our way out of slavery. I don't know if y'all have been told that. Go research the Gullah Wars. History has hid it underneath the term of Indian Wars. Indian literally means black. Indian is the English version of the Spaniard word indigo, which means blue-black. Like people say, you're so black you look blue, that movie The Color Purple. When Spaniards came over here, because you have to remember, Spaniards are just white men who speak Spanish. Spanish was created in Italy by Catholics. A lot of people don't know that, including the entire Spanish community. No disrespect to y'all, but I'm here to let y'all know you didn't create that language. You speak Spanish the same way I speak English. We were conquered. It just is what it is. Now, when white Spaniards was doing what they was doing, Christopher Columbus, who was commissioned by Queen Isabella, Spaniards, white people that speak Spanish, his son Domingo, they went to the Caribbean, and they established the first plantations there. And those plantations today became what we now call Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Christopher Columbus's friend, Amerigo Vespucci, made it to Florida and started to conquer. And that's why they named America, because it's named after Amerigo. So America is named after Spaniards. Why is this important? To understand democracy, you must understand, before there were the 13 English colonies, the Spaniards, the Dutch, the Germans, and the British were already in America murdering black Indians. Now, Europeans decide, hey, we want some of that slave money too. And they jump in, and they come over here and create the 13 colonies. But those 13 colonies on the eastern coast were nothing compared to all of the other colonies. So now we know how Spanish got over here. Now we know why the West Coast has a huge Hispanic population. We know how Mexico became the way it was. We know how Cuban became the way it was. Now we see how Spanish made its way to the Western Hemisphere along with English. So the Spaniards and the Englishmen were the main two conquerors of the Western world.